What's going on, everyone? It's Waiver Wire Queen. Thanks for tuning in this evening. Me and Hove 800, aka Dave, we're going to perform a few mock drafts for you guys this evening. And then we're just going to have a little fun. We're going to do about 3 mock drafts for a redraft league, which is super PPR because we get 1 point per reception, and then we have an additional half point. And that's for running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. We've been kind of doing a mock drafts, and it's been hard, I'll tell you guys, because the running backs have gone fairly fast in these drafts. But, anyways, we're going to jump right into it. Dave is out here anxious to draft. He wants to bet me, y'all, this season in fantasy that he'll beat me and destroy all my teams. But when you look at my team so far that we've drafted, I've drafted better than him. But whatever works for him. You know what I mean, guys? Whatever works for him. So let me get ready to share my screen with you guys. Let's get right into it. Hi. So this is the Sleeper app. We have converted all of our leagues to the Sleeper app. Majority of our leagues are dynasty leagues, and we have this redraft league. So all of our leagues are pretty much on this app. We all really love the app, and I'll kind of discuss some of the things that we enjoy about the Sleeper app as we go on in this mock. Let me get started because Dave is anxious. I don't want to keep him waiting. Now, I want y'all to rate our teams. Let us know who y'all think had the best draft out of me and Hove. I'm gonna I'm gonna try a different strategy. I'm gonna try a different strategy each time. I've been working on a few different strategies to kind of figure out how I'm gonna go about this draft. I'm gonna try to do something totally different than my normal norm. My normal norm is to go running back, wide receiver, which is pretty much typical for everyone. Or sometimes I may do 2 running backs, but running backs have been going fast in this league. So I wanted to try something different, but I'm gonna try to see if I can do that on in either the other 2 mocks and see how that's gonna work for me. So for this one, I'm gonna try to pair a wide receiver with a quarterback. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go early, and I'm doing that because me and Dave, we draft in leagues together, and I pretty much know his strategy. So I wouldn't have been able to get Allen coming back around because he was gonna go for Allen, which is why he ended up taking Mahomes. But he could have kind of waited a little bit later and maybe settled in on Aaron Rodgers to maybe pair uh, Devontae Adams up. So for this mock, I am going to pair my top wide receiver with this quarterback, which I already did. And I'm going to try to go wide receiver heavy from here on and see how that works. So I normally get a little stressed when I start seeing the majority of running backs off the board, which you're seeing here. But the goal is to pretty much go wide receiver heavy and kind of go with, some lesser backs, but wide receiver heavy here. So, and I'm trying wide receivers that I wouldn't normally uh mess with. So, like McLaurin, I don't typically draft him. Never had the opportunity to draft him, but I'm doing it here. So when I'm looking at Dave, I know he's pissed that I ended up taking Josh Allen, but it is what it is. So now I have 3 wide receivers. So what I'm going to try to do is come back around and see what running backs are left and try to grab me one of these lower end running backs. They're still solid running backs on the board. Now I got to be strategic in how I pick these running backs because there aren't many on the board. So I I'm looking at the team after me, and I feel like I have a chance to. I feel like they're yeah, exactly. I didn't think that they were going to go running back in these 2 rounds because they had went running back twice, so that worked for me. So now with these 2 guys, I'm not really high on them. Like Gaskin, he's going to be the starter. he had a solid season last year, but I'm not necessarily high on him. He's obviously not an RB1. He's more, I look at him more of a flex play. Um, Robinson, you know, he had some really high value until Urban decided he wanted to draft Travis Etienne. I feel like ATN is the better back, but I think they complement each other. So I am not mad that I'm that I got Robinson. I think for what I'm trying to do, that's not a bad move. And then I'm gonna look to see who else is here. So what I'm trying to do, I'm still sticking to my wide receiver heavy, but I also feel like I should add another running back, and I'm gonna go for a running back. I don't typically go for it in Ronald Jones. I honestly think with Tom Brady, obviously, y'all, he has performed well, but I mean, like Tom Brady makes everyone better. Come on now, and he's the GOAT in football, so it's Tom Brady, but obviously Ronald Jones had a career year. I'm looking forward to see how they split the carries out there. I've always felt like Leonard Fournette was a solid running back, but staying in Jacksonville, and now I just feel like him and I feel like these two will be splitting carries, but Singletary to me should be the lead back in this field, but you know, we'll have. I mean, not Singletary. I'm talking about Singletary. I'm going to talk about about him too. Jones should be the lead back. Now, since I jumped on the Singletary, Singletary's not a back that I'm typically high on, but for the purposes of this mock, I wanted to secure some top notch wide receivers, which I did. I feel highly about Diggs, McLaurin, and Cooper. And so I feel like the four running backs I've added are good, solid running backs, nothing fancy, but will get the job done. Singletary, he's had several opportunities to take that backfield and make it his own, but he simply hasn't done it. I think if he doesn't get it right this year, with whatever chances they give him, he's is going to be Moss. And then if Moss don't get it right, maybe they'll look at Breida, but they're gonna have to figure that running back situation out because they're not getting that production. So here I'm just gonna do a lower end tight end, and now this is a two tight end league, so I should have considered prioritizing tight end a little bit better. But you can get the concept is in this league is you'll get additional points for the tight end position. So I feel like I can get some late value and be okay. Like I could have went for Logan Thomas. That would have been great value to help me because you're getting additional points for the tight end spot. I wasn't going to get the top dogs. So if I wasn't getting Kels, or if I didn't decide to go with Kittles, and I'm waiting later to get my my running back. I mean my tight ends. Now here I'm gonna just let's see. I'm not going for a quarterback right now. I feel like I don't have to grab a quarterback because I feel like I have solid value, obviously, with one of the top five quarterbacks in the NFL. So I don't need to necessarily look at a quarterback. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, again, looking at this as I'm going wide receiver heavy. I'm going with Aguilar, and I'm just going with him for purposes of this draft. He's going to be the number one. I'm not high on any of the pass catchers out there in New England until I see what the hell Cam Newton can do. Can he throw it? Can he still throw the ball? He's never been the most accurate quarterback, but he has made it work. So I'm not necessarily high on Aguilar, but I think that's great value. It was him or Ruggs, and I trust Aguilar, even though he dropped the ball so much in his career, early on in his career. I trust him a little bit more than I trust Ruggs. And Dave, he's having a hard time now trying to figure out what to do because I done messed his world up and went and took his quarterback. So he's out here struggling. But nonetheless, we're going to let him run it down. He's trying. He's trying. Let's talk about some of these tight ends that I think you can grab later on if you can't get the top guys. Like I said, Logan Thomas you could look at. You can look at Tyler Higbee. You can also look at Gerald Everett. I think he's got great value. Now, for this particular pick, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the PPR running back that I feel like has great value in McKissick. He's a great PPR running back. And then I'm going to just go with Gerald Everett. I honestly feel like he's going to be really good this year. He's going to be with Russell Wilson. And the tight ends normally do well when they're with Russell Wilson. And you got to think that he's not going to be splitting time with Higbee anymore because Higbee's where he's at with the Rams. And then and Everett is with Wilson. So don't have to worry about that. He's an athletic tight end. He's going to get the ball. I could see them using him a lot in the red zone. So I'm not mad at grabbing him at that point. And then I'm looking to see who else is out there. Any more good value at running back? There is some good value still. I still see Rashard Penny, but what I'm going to do here is I am going to go with another tight end. I'm just going to secure my tight end. So I'm going to go with Fercher. I don't think he's number 3, obviously, when it comes to who Tannehill's going to be looking at when it's time to throw the ball. But I think they'll utilize him a lot in the red zone. So they'll utilize him a lot in the red zone. We all watched Henry miss out on some touchdowns at times. So they're going to use him in the red zone, I expect. And I think this is great value here late. Another tight end, Blake Jarwin, is another tight end who I feel is going to be solid. Obviously, I feel like out of pass catchers, he is number 4 on the Cowboys because you got obviously Cooper, Lamb. I feel like Gallup is going to be ahead of Jarwin when it comes to receptions, but nonetheless, the Cowboys are going to be throwing the ball a ton. At some time, this young man is going to get the ball. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to get my quarterback, my backup quarterback, and I'm going to go with the defense here. I like the Dolphins defense right at this spot. That defense is improved, and I'm hoping that Howard will stick around, but we all know how that goes. And then I'm going to take Lutz. He's kind of dropped in the rankings, but nonetheless, I'm still going to take him here. Hell, he may be getting more field goal opportunities early on, considering they don't have Michael Thomas, and then you really don't know who the hell their starting quarterback is going to be. So early on, I'm staying away from the Saints unless it's Alvin Kamara. Obviously, Michael Thomas is on. He's not going to start the season. I don't see that happening. But I am hoping that he does play this year. Let's see where he was drafted in this mock. He's still going fairly high in mock drafts. Let's see where he went. He's been going in the 3rd round of most of the mocks that I've been doing. So he's somewhere around here. It's like he's hiding. I guess if I had my glasses on, I would have found him by now. But nonetheless, where he's at? Where he at? Wish I could search his name. Here he goes. Okay, so yeah, in the 3rd round he went. Possibly can wait on him because you got to think like he's not going to start the season. So some people are going to be afraid to take him. So you figure they got him here, right? Michael Thomas went here. He's not going to start the season. I was able to get McLaurin here, and you see Robinson and then Julio and Cooper. So I expect these 4 guys to start the season. It's crazy, but you know, it is what it is. So, what do y'all think of this mock draft that we just did? Who do you think had the better mock? I was trying a different strategy there. I was trying a different strategy with the try to go wide receiver heavy, and then the goal was to pair a top quarterback with their top target. So a top quarterback, top wide receiver, which I was able to do. These two last year, Allen and Diggs made magic. They had a excellent season together. Obviously, they're going to do more of that. Beasley is still in the mix. I'm assuming he's got some decisions to make about this season. Emmanuel Sanders is going to be a solid option there. I still believe he has something left. He may be getting up there in age, but he still got that speed. So Emmanuel Sanders, I ended up picking him up as well. Oh no, I didn't pick him up, but I was considering picking him up later in this mock. So that mock is over. I'm gonna stop sharing and just talk to you guys. We about to get ready to start doing we're gonna do another mock shortly, and I'm gonna try a whole different strategy for this mock. Just trying to do try different strategies to see, what's gonna happen with my team. Like, I honestly have no clue how I'm going to approach this draft. I'm trying so many different methods, but I'm definitely gonna do something totally different than what I normally do, and it's gonna shock everyone. I don't even think what I'm going to do. I'm gonna do any mocks with the guys in the league, because I know like Dave will be out here trying to steal my strategy. So I'm gonna kind of play around with it and just try a few different options, and just not give up what I'm truly going to do. So some players I'm I'm high on, and I'm talking about late sleepers. um, I like McKissick in a deep league in a deep PPR league. And I know that Rivera is saying that, oh, Gibson is gonna be out there more. He's going to get more work in the receiving game. McKissick's going to be out there, and I think that him and Fitzmagic for the 5 or 6 games, I think Fitzmagic is going to be good, and McKissick is going to really excel. And this is for PPR leagues, and he's someone you can get later on, because have to you have to draft people for your bench. You're not going to have all of the top players on your bench. So when you're thinking about some late sleepers, you want to identify players who you feel you can put on your bench, and they can come in. If I was someone drafting Gibson, I would definitely consider McKissick at some point later on in the draft, because he's going to be there, and pair them up, because I'm still waiting to see how he comes back after that injury. So McKissick is one that I really like late, and I'll say it again, late. Don't go and do anything crazy and say Waiver Wire Queen told me to go on and pick McKissick up. I said sleeper and late, and strictly PPR. And when I say strictly PPR, that's all I mean. Don't go in and look at him in standard leagues, unless he just ends up being the starting running back, which Gibson is the starting running back. I was extremely high on Michael Pittman, but the whole Carson Wentz injury and the quarterbacks they currently have in place, I'm kind of taking a pause. I still feel like at some point Wentz is going to come back and play, and then you'll start seeing Pittman's value go up. Even though Nelson had a similar injury to what Carson Wentz experienced, I still feel like you should draft Jonathan Taylor in the first round with confidence. Don't shy away from him. They're both going to come back, and Jonathan Taylor's going to be fine. Pittman, like I said, I feel like he's going to be at all of their wide receivers, he's going to be the one that's going to lead them in yardage. Ty, he had some moments last year with Rivers, but We'll have to see. I still think TYU can draft him, but I'm not touching him until late. Okay. If he's unavailable, if he is on the board late, then I'm like, okay, let's do it. But if early, we're gonna have to pull your fantasy. We're gonna revoke your fantasy football card. So don't even do it. But we're about to get started with another mock draft. We're waiting on Dave. He's stressing, so we're waiting on Dave, to get in here so we can get this mock draft started. Well, actually, we're gonna do that over. We're gonna do this over so we can get him in and we can get a mock draft going. Now, again, the concept of this league, this is a PPR league, and I'm going to call it like a super PPR league because in this league, we are awarding, you get the 1 point, as always, that's the norm. And then we're doing an additional half a point for running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. And this is a 2 tight end league. So what I've noticed in the mocks, tight ends, well, not the tight ends, the running backs have been going fast, and then also tight ends, obviously in a 2 tight end league, people are grabbing tight ends. I've never truly prioritized the tight end spot because for a league like this, considering we're giving additional points to the tight end spot, I'm not gonna be able to get the top guys. I realize that where I'm picking 11th. So unless I decide to go with them extra early, no. And I'm gonna try a strategy like that and see how that works. But I don't think that's a good strategy. But I have some late tight ends I feel is gonna bring me good value and will still help me, considering you're gonna get additional points for the tight end at the tight end spot. Let me say that correctly so I don't confuse anyone. Now Dave about to get left out here in the cold if he don't get in here. So let's see. So yeah, but again, this league, standard league, got to start 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. Redraft. I don't do a lot of redrafts anymore, but I'm doing 3 this year, and I'm cutting back on those because I really enjoy the Dynasty League the best. So I have 2 redraft leagues I normally join. One is a janky league because the commission's janky, so it's a fun league. I'll say that it's fun, and then this league that we're doing now. So those are my redraft leagues, and that's pretty much it. And I'll tell you, we use the Sleeper app. So we use the Sleeper app, which is the best platform. I've used Yahoo, NFL, ESPN. I've tried a few different ones, and one of the things I love about the Sleeper app is you get the news early. Like I get the news on Sleeper app before the news is out, so that's important, obviously, because you want to know what's going on with the players you have on your team. So that's very important. Another great feature is the players. You can look at the history, and it'll have a breakdown of each season, and it'll have a breakdown of all of their stats, standard and PPR, their rankings, standard and PPR, as well as how many fantasy points they had for each season. It's a bunch of stuff that this this app offers. Let me pull it up so you can see it. So let me pull my little screen up. One thing I will say is that they need to improve on is hold on 1 second. Let me get this app up for you guys so you guys can see it. See, I'm about to leave Dave because he's supposed to be in here, but I don't have time to wait for him anymore. So okay. So the big one thing I realized that they have to work on is the watch list. So like, say this is an example. Say I'm in 3 leagues and I'm looking at some free agents I want to monitor, or I'm looking at a player on someone's team I want to monitor, and I put them in my watch list. So if I'm in 3 leagues, the watch list is one big watch list for every league, and I don't like that. And I don't think a lot of people like that. I've seen people in chats talk about that uh, watch list and how they need to fix that. So that's one thing that's pretty much really the one of the only things that I don't like. And sometimes I do have to kind of refresh the app, but I feel like that's because so many more people are using the app. When I talk to a lot of people who play fantasy, they're all pretty much using the sleeper app. So for this draft, I'm just gonna go on and do this draft without Dave, and I think that's a good idea because I'm gonna try another strategy, and I don't need him. I don't need him all in my business watching this. So let's just get started, and I'm gonna try this little strategy and see if it works. Again, I'm noticing the running backs are going extra early in these mocks. Every one of the mocks, all running backs are going extra fast. So I'm trying something that I would never normally try, and I'll say don't try this at home. So don't try this. Don't be like me. Okay? Don't do what I do. Let's see. So here's what I'm going to try here. So very strange concept that I will never try at home. And I don't advise you guys to try it. Okay, so don't. I'll tell you another thing. Historically, I always get like one of the worst picks in drafts. So when I draft, my picks are pretty much 11 or a weird spot 6. I don't like picking 6, but that's typically what I've been picking in all of the drafts. And I'm starting to think that someone set me up. The fantasy gods have set the waiver wire queen up. All right, so I'm trying something different here. I'm starting off with two. I started off with 2 tight ends. So now I'm gonna just say, well, I got 2 top tight ends, and I'm gonna go with Gibson. And then I'm gonna mix it up and add wide. Mike Evans, and I'm adding him because I have a plan. My goal is to try to see if I can pair Mike Evans and Brady together. So what I was able to do was I was able to get, to me, in my opinion, the top 2 fantasy tight ends right now. You know, obviously, some people feel that Kittle is either 1 or 2. I got it, Kels and Waller for fantasy purposes right now, but that can change at any given time. So I want to go. I'm gonna check to see what kind of running backs are there. Then I want to look and see what this whoever's the computer is doing here, just to kind of figure out if I can do what I want to do and still come back around and get who I need. So I'm gonna go with Johnson because I feel like he's the number 1 guy there, and he's PPR purposes. I feel like Ben is going to be targeting him. So then I'm still able to add another running back. So that was very strange for me, going with grabbing 2 of the top tight ends. This is a two tight end league, and you get additional points awarded to the tight end. So you don't necessarily have to get the top tight ends in order to be successful at the tight end spot. And again, there are several tight ends you can consider late. Now, I want to see if my quarterback is here, and he is, and I don't feel like they're going to be drafting the quarterback that I'm looking at. So I'm going to kind of check to see what running backs are here. I'm going to add, I don't really, I'm not a big fan of Cooks. I can go with Debo, or I can look to see what other tight ends are here. So what I'm going to do, instead of going tight end, I am just going to settle in on, no, you know what? I'm going to go with Debo. I'm mixing this up with the top tight ends, and um, the running backs. So now I'm gonna grab the quarterback that I wanted to pair with the wide receiver and Tom Brady with Mike Evans, because I don't anticipate him being there once once it comes back around me. He's not gonna be here, so that's why I decided to go that route. So now I'm kind of looking at just surveying my roster. I like Kels and Waller. Then I added Gibson and Robinson. And I still feel like I have some really good value at the wide receiver spot. Big thing. Deshaun Watson and redrafts. Honestly, I don't feel like he's playing this year. So in a redraft league, I'm not checking for him. If you still want to draft him in a redraft league, knowing that he's most likely not playing this year, go on and do you. But in a dynasty league, I will still take a chance. I've actually been able to get him in two leagues, in one in the seventh and one in the eighth round. So I would say kind of look at that go on and before you go on and make the decision to bring him in. Right now, I'm gonna add Tunyon. I have him in my top 10. I see the computer pick the tight end, and I guarantee you they would have ended up picking him. And then I'm gonna kind of look here and see. I like Curtis Samuel for this this PPR league. So see guys, Dave, I'm winning the wrong league. He in the whole wrong league. So anyways, so now okay, I'm surveying my roster. I kind of like this team. I'm not gonna get one of the top running backs because I'm picking 11. That's not gonna happen. So I gotta kind of I'm looking at the running backs. I feel still have solid value. So I feel like right now is a perfect time to take another running back. Um, I like Gus Edwards. However, I'm gonna go down here and just grab my PPR running back and just add him. This is a bit early, but he's PPR, and that's who I want. Um, right, wide receiver, I can either right here Hardman or Aguilar. I feel like even though Aguilar is the number one, I feel like finally this year Hardman is going to have his breakout season. Thought he was going to step it up last year, didn't. I trust Pat Mahomes getting him the ball more than I trust Cam getting Aguilar the ball. So I'm going to go with Hardman here. Even though Aguilar is the number one, I'm going to go with Hardman based on the fact that I feel like Mahomes is going to get him the ball. He just better catch it, okay? And he's good to go. So let's look at some of the picks I made so far. So this was a gamble, and this was just a different strategy trying to do the two tight ends and then start mixing some other guys in. Mike Evans was really good with Tom Brady last year, so I was able to pair those two guys together. So I am not mad at that. Obviously, Tom was playing injured, and he was solid. So I'm expecting big things from Tom and Evans this year. Maybe even Godwin will start playing better. He had a rough season last year. A lot of that was injuries, but maybe he'll be back to the year before statistically. Let's see who I want to go for here. Look at Hardman, got Gage. Gage is the number two. He's gonna be the third. He's gonna be the third in the pecking order. We got it. Ridley. I got it. Ridley, Pitts, then Gage. At times last year, he was solid. He is definitely someone to consider as a sleeper. Don't expect no 1,500 yards from him. I'm looking more at 700 yards, maybe even push it to 8. But Ryan's gonna get him the ball. At times last year, they had a great rapport, but don't look to him to be, I don't see him as 1,000-yard wide receiver, but he's definitely has some great value late. All right, y'all. Let me look. Let me look here and see what I need to do. So when I look, I think I need to add another running back here. My running back game is a little rough. So here I'm gonna go with Philip Lindsey. I feel like Houston is going to run the ball a lot. They're gonna use all of their running backs. Um, I'm not high on any of the quarterbacks unless they say, "Hey, Watson is gonna play." Then I'll look like, "Oh, okay, they're gonna do more." But I feel like they're gonna run the football a whole lot. And David Johnson is gonna obviously be the lead back, but Philip Lindsay is definitely gonna be out there in that field. So he is great value late. I like that whole great value late. I like that. So let's see here. I don't have a bunch of picks left, but what I'm gonna do here is this. So I'm gonna choose to either add my tight end now, which I think the tight end I want is still gonna be there. So I'm going to look at adding another wide receiver. So I'm gonna end up settling on Crowder. He's getting the reps, the first team. So I'm looking at him. Now here, I really don't necessarily care about pairing my backup quarterback because I just feel like this is a one game. It's only for one game. So I'm gonna wait and see if my tight end is here. My tight end is still here and he's deep. He's deep down there and he's gonna be there when the draft come back around. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pick my defense. The Browns defense, great solid defense to pick. I'm very happy with picking the Browns this late. Now let's see if when it comes back around, if the tight end I wanted to target late is going to be there. Crossing my fingers, y'all. I believe he's going to be there. He's been there all of this time. And so is he going to be? I think I'm going to just go with my quarterback because I still feel like once it kicks back around to me, he'll be there. So for this draft, I'm going to just go with I'm just going to go with Zach Wilson. He's the starter. I'm going to go with him. And then I am going to grab my tight end. Now, let's look at it. These two guys are not the tight ends I'm targeting, but this is great value very late. Blake Jarwin, definitely a great late round sleeper at tight end. Obviously, there are three guys ahead of him in regards to what's going on out there in passing game with Dallas, but he is going to be solid. I had high expectations for him last year, but he got hurt early on in the season. If he remains healthy, he's going to be good this year. So you can either look for someone like him if you're unable to pick up any of the top tight ends or that second tier tight ends. Anthony Fercher, obviously Brown and Julio. I do feel like he's going to obviously be a part of that passing game because he'll be number 3. I'll tell you this, and then he may see more targets in the red zone if they're not running the ball in the red zone, which sometimes they did not do. But for here, what I wanted to do was pair OJ Howard and add him to my team with to go along with Tom Brady. I feel like once he returns back from his, I think he had an ACL injury, ACL or Achilles, can't remember exactly which one. He's gonna be good, and I feel like he's there. To me, I feel like he's their best option at tight end. I do think they'll use Gronk, but I don't think they're gonna use him like everyone is thinking. They're gonna use him, but not like what we are accustomed to and what they did, and obviously to win a Super Bowl. Very different. Okay, y'all. So that was that mock. Let's click on Waiver Wire Queens team. Let's see what I did here. My computer's a bit slow. This is a new computer and it kind of moves just a little too slow for me. So, but I like my team. I think people would be a little stressed to see a lineup of Mike Evans, Johnson, and then when you look at Kels and Waller. Now, obviously, I would move this lineup around a bit, and some of these guys who are starting, I wouldn't start. But my goal was to just kind of see how the roster would look by going 2 tight ends first and kind of throw everybody off in the mock. But I'm not planning on using that strategy in my real draft because I don't think that's a great strategy. That's just not a great strategy. So Dave is stressing me out about joining another mock, so I'm gonna do another mock and then bring him in, and we're gonna get started with that. And this will be our final mock draft this evening, and then I'm gonna pretty much try a different strategy, and that'll be my third different one. The first one, I wanted to pair one of the top wide receivers with the top quarterback, which I succeeded. That roster was solid. And then the second one, I wanted to see what my team would look like if I got the two top tight ends and then paired Mike Evans with Tom Brady. And I was actually able to still add two starting running backs who were solid. So that worked out. That worked out well. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. So I'm gonna get ready to bring Dave in, and we'll get started on this final mock of the evening. We've had fun doing mock drafts. Yeah, I'm gonna get right in here and see what's going on. So I'm gonna join this mock and wait for him to get in here. You know, he take forever to get in. But some more players. Let me think of some more sleepers. I talked about the tight ends that you can target late. Last year, people were able to get Logan Thomas on the wire. Like I was able to do that. I remember in the league where somebody was debating me over one guy was going to be the starter. I think it was Sprinkle. And I'm like, and it turned out to be Logan Thomas. I feel like Fitzmagic is going to get him the ball for the 5 or 6 games that he's going to be great in, and then they'll consider another quarterback. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do, but I'm a Giants fan, so hey, Washington not really 100% sure on their quarterback works for me. Logan Thomas had over 640 receiving yards considering the quarterback play last season. So that is amazing. Just think if they could get some consistent quarterback play, what he would do. Okay. So he's awesome. So you don't have to get the top 5 because my top 5 is Kels, Waller, Kittle, Hutchinson, and Andrews. You don't have to get those top 5. You can get some other tight ends. And when you look at their fantasy points, it's not much of a difference. So you can get from that second tier on down, you can still get solid value and win your league because that's the goal. You don't have to ruin or destroy your team by I'm gonna go with the top tight end in the first round, and then you don't know how to pair them correctly with you don't know how to build around them, because when you're drafting, you're building your team. And I'm not big on drafting tight ends in the first round. It's just not for me. I know a lot of people who do it. It's not my thing. I normally try to play it safe, running back, wide receiver. Sometimes I've gone try to go wide receiver heavy, and the wide receiver heavy has been my best. I've seen my best results, so that's worked for me. But also realize in going wide receiver heavy early, I knew when to draft my running back and which running backs to look for. So that season I went 11-2. I had Adams, Cooper, Fuller. I had Deshaun Watson. I had David Montgomery, Chris Carson. I was able to pick up Myles Gaskin. Obviously, he was a free agent. A lot of this stuff, you got to put it together, and also you got to work the wire. So it doesn't just stop with that draft. Work your wire, because you may be high on a player in the draft and they stink it up and don't even play. Like going into the season last year, everybody thought Howard was going to be the starting running back in Miami, and we all watch what happened there. So that didn't work out. So what I was able to do is I was able to add Myles Gaskin, and then Saquon got hurt, and what I was able to do was pick up Goldman, and Goldman helped me get to the playoffs. Okay, guys, I didn't win. My top wide receivers had a meltdown, but it happens. But the point I'm trying to say is my best results. Normally, Amari Cooper and Adams combined is not going to get me less than 15 points. That's just not gonna happen. It's an anomaly. It's not gonna happen often. So, would I ever consider that strategy again? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I'll consider that strategy again because that strategy had a lot of teams shook. We'll give Dave a few more minutes, and then after that, we're gonna get ready to get started. We're gonna get ready to get started. Let's talk about some injuries. Justin Jefferson hurt his shoulder and practice today. Doesn't seem like a major injury. I know as soon as the news came out, people were stressing. He's gonna be all right. So if you were having doubts and like, oh my gosh, I need to stay away from him in the draft, obviously he's gonna be okay. So you can still draft him with confidence. Okay, don't sleep on him. This is early on. You can still draft him with confidence. Carson Wentz at some point is going to be back this season. I'm not high on any of those wide receivers out there until I can see Carson Wentz on that field. I'm not high on Eason and Hundlin. I'm not. So right now, I mean, I don't even know if I'm not high on those guys now. If Carson Wentz come back, I like Michael Pittman as a late sleeper. I do. If Carson Wentz can come back, I do. I love him as a late sleeper. But right now, he's on my bench in a dynasty league, and he will remain there until Carson Wentz come back, unless Eason just come out there and light it up. But I don't see that happening. So it is what it is. Now, Jonathan Taylor may take a small hit if Nelson is not ready to start the season. I feel like he's their best O lineman. Once you start having injuries to the offensive line, that's not a good look. And you know what happens there. Then your run game suffers, as you can see what happened to Elliott last year. But I mean, he was fumbling the ball too. However, that offensive line having injuries and getting old, you was able to see what happened with him in the running game. I would still draft Taylor with confidence. I've seen him go in the first round. I have no problem with that. I do have a problem when he's going ahead of some of the top guys. Like you shouldn't go ahead of the top 2 or 3 guys in the league. If I'm selecting between Kamara and Taylor, I'm gonna go with Kamara. If I am looking and it's Cook or Taylor, I'm gonna go with Cook. That's just what it is. He's still a great ad, so don't stress about the O line. That they'll fix that. That'll get better. Some other injuries to consider. Obviously, the Michael Thomas injury. I don't think he'll start the season. I don't think a lot of people feel like he'll start the season. Some people feel like it's a wrap for him. I do not feel like it's a wrap. I'm a believer in Michael Thomas. However, I feel like him being out for a while, his value has dropped a bit, especially in my rankings. I didn't have him in my top 5, but I think I had him at, I want to say 7. I think I had him at 7. Now I pushed him all the way up to 10, but he's definitely easily top 5 when he is healthy. But we got to see him healthy. Is he going to return? Hell yeah, he's going to return. I would love to see him and Winston together. I think that's a better combination than him and Hill. But the Saints, we don't know what the hell they doing out there with quarterback. But I guess they're going to have to figure it out. Some other injuries to think about. Saquon Barkley. Yeah, I got the Giants hat going on. So I seen from Sleeper saying that he may be ready week 1 or up to week 3. I feel like as a Giants fan, be conservative and you take the conservative approach pretty much. Don't rush him back because that can be a disaster. So when I look at Saquon, I'm not gonna, like, if I was drafting today, I would kind of be cautious when I draft him, but Is he still first round talent? Hell yeah, because he's gonna come back and they're gonna give him the ball. They're just not gonna have him running the ball, I don't think, 25, 30 times a game. They're gonna mix it up, and I feel like his carries are gonna go down a bit, a slight bit, because you don't want to overwork him and you want to bring him along slowly. That's why Giants fan is saying bring him along slowly. Right now, if I was drafting in the top 3, it would be, for me, my top 3. I would go Cook, CMC, and Kamara. When healthy, I would be looking at Saquon, and I probably would put him ahead of Kamara, and he would get the nod just because of the Giants love. But it is what it is. So I'm gonna get ready to get this mock going, and this is gonna be the last mock of the evening. So I'm gonna get ready to share my screen. So now for this mock, we're using the Sleeper app. And this is a 2 tight end league, and it's a PPR league. And we are awarding additional points for the tight end spot. Let's see. I'm clicking on the wrong things. Oh, here it is. Yes, let's get started. Some of the great features of the Sleeper app. Obviously, I feel like the news, the breakdown of the snap percentage is great. Before I was using Sleeper app to host leagues and play in leagues, I was using the Sleeper app just for the news and the snap percentage. I love that because that kind of helps me target some of my players. For this mock, I'm gonna try to go. I'm gonna try to get me a running back, and this is a PPR. So I'm gonna go with Austin Eckler. He is definitely a solid. He's an excellent running back for PPR leagues. This time around, I'm going to do my norm, and I'm going to pair a running back with a wide receiver, and I like that. I like that pairing of Eckler and Diggs. I love that. So back to Eckler, definitely a great PPR running back. He's definitely one of the best in PPR leagues. Let's see, who am I gonna go for here that I can look at? So I said I was gonna go running back heavy. I'm just going David Montgomery because I really love David Montgomery's game. And most of my mocks, again, Michael Thomas is still going in the second round. As you can see, McLaurin went after him. Right now, I would be taking McLaurin ahead of him. So I think right here is great value. Mike Evans. So this is my strategy here, is to pair 2 solid running backs with 2 solid wide receivers, and then I'm going to try to pair one of my wide receivers or tight end with a quarterback. So, and for me, normally I like to build my team and pick a quarterback late, and you just got to know the right quarterback to pick late. You just don't want to pick anybody. I prefer here. I'm gonna go with Johnson. I prefer him over. I love Tyler Lockett, but I'm gonna go with Johnson. I feel like obviously DK, in my opinion, is the number one, and I feel like Johnson is obviously a no-brainer. He's the number one out there. And then I'm looking at running back. So, do I want to add another running back, or do I want to go wide receiver? So I said I was gonna go running back heavy in this draft. And so far, I like the guys that I've added to this team to build this team. Now let's see what's going on here. So thinking about a quarterback, and can I pair my quarterback? Let's see if the quarterback's going to be available. So I'm looking at what this computer Team 12 is doing. And I noticed they already have a quarterback. So my quarterback is still there. And I don't think that they're going to be going quarterback because they got a quarterback. So I can either go for a tight end right now, which I'm gonna wait a little bit, and I'm gonna add, and then I'm gonna just grab my quarterback because he's not gonna be there once it comes back around to me. So in this draft, I'm gonna pair Mike Evans and Tom Brady. I like those. That pairing gives me some double buckets. Well, not buckets, double points. And that's what you want to consider. You don't want to just have a team of just different random players. Try to pair somebody like if you in one of my dynasty leagues, my goal was to pair Mahomes and Kels. I was unable to do that, so I just ended up going to get Hardman, and then I got Hilaire Edwards, that young guy. So now I'm gonna consider tight end because it's time to consider it. Again, I love Watson. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks to draft in fantasy, but I am not checking for him in I'm not checking for him in PPR. I mean, not PPR. I'm not checking for him in a redraft because honestly, I just don't feel that he is going to play this year. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm just going to go and grab two solid running back tight ends. Tunyon, have him in my top 10. He's closer to 10, either 10 or 11. I have him at 10. And then I'm gonna bring Higbee here. He's another sleeper. I think he's gonna have a good year. He's gonna actually be the full-time starter. He's no longer going to split snaps with Everett because Everett's in Seattle. Look at Everett late. I think he's gonna be a great sleeper too at the tight end spot. And then Higbee, he's gonna be receiving the ball from Stafford, and Stafford is definitely going to get him the ball. So there's my two. There's my two tight ends to start. And like I said, I'm gonna look at some more running backs. I'm looking at PPR, so I'm looking down here, and I'm kind of seeing where things are. And I honestly believe that I can go somewhere else before I pick my running back that I'm targeting. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to go with it for the purposes of this draft. I'm gonna go with Aguilar since he's the number one, and then now I'm going to add my PPR running back late McKissick. He most likely would have been there once it came back around, but I don't want to take the chance because I'm going running back heavy here. And he's definitely a great late sleeper for PPR leagues. So you can kind of look at him. And I'm looking around again to see what I can get. So let's look. I'm going to go with Russell Gage. And then I am going to grab Gerald Everett. Like I said, nice sleeper late. And as you can see, this draft is winding down. So the goal was running back heavy. I love the top, my two starting running backs. Obviously, Eckler is a RB1. And in my opinion, Montgomery is definitely a strong RB2. And arguably, he could be a low-end RB1 considering the season he had last year. And I don't feel like Williams is a threat. Cohen, we got to see what he has once he returns from injury. So we don't know what the hell he's gonna do. So I'm not checking for him. Montgomery, I love that running back. Now I could look here at Rieger, or I can look back at some running backs. I'm gonna go with Penny. Then here, I still feel like I can grab one of these quarterbacks late, and what I'm gonna do is end up pairing a quarterback with one of my wide receivers with their quarterback again. And here I am going to just go with the rookie Pat. He's not going to be starting early on. I do feel like at some point he's going to take that starting spot from Ibram. So that's something to look at, especially for dynasty leagues. He obviously should be drafted. It's a no-brainer. So here what I'm going to do is pick a defense. I like the Miami defense. And then quarterback. I feel like the quarterback I'm going to take is going to be there. So I'm going to pick up my kicker and I'm just going to go with Lutz and just call it a day. Go with Lutz. And once it comes back around, I should be able to get the quarterback that I want. And we'll see. Cross my fingers. I can't believe Tebow is being drafted in leagues. I'm staying away from him. Jacksonville could have got a tight end in the draft, but they didn't. But, okay, so I went with Ben, and I'm pairing him just for that 1 week that Brady is off. I'm pairing him with Johnson. So that was my goal, to pair my two of my top wide receivers with their quarterbacks, which I was able to do. So let's get out of there and let's get back right into it. So that was 3 mocks. So 3 different strategies, but in every strategy, I did manage to pair a quarterback with their wide receiver. And I tried the strategy of going running back heavy. Then I tried a strategy that I don't think I would use. I went with the top 2 tight ends, and I still was able to draft a solid team. And then in the first mock, I went wide receiver heavy. But what I did was I drafted Diggs, and then came back right around and draft Josh Allen. So before you draft, and officially for the real draft, you want to do mock drafts. You want to prepare. You want to develop what the best strategy is for you, and that starts with knowing the type of league, redraft, keeper, dynasty, what type of league, and then is this a PPR or standard? You got to know those things and just know obviously the setup of the roster and the breakdown of scoring. Know all those things, then you can do your research and figure out players you want to target. Do a lot of mocks. Hell, you can do mocks just for fun, just to kind of figure out what's going to be the best strategy. I always recommend pairing. Your wide receiver and a wide receiver with a quarterback, and don't just do it for the hell of it. Like, I'm not just looking at, let me just pair McLaurin with Fitzpatrick. Remember, he hasn't really played a whole full season. Like, you've seen what happened down in Miami. So you don't want to do that. Now, if you were able to pair, like what I did last year was I paired Watson with Fuller because I felt like Fuller's going to be the number 1, and he was having a career year until he was suspended. So that's when I'm thinking of pairing my wide receiver with a quarterback, I'm looking at something like what I did early was Diggs and Allen. Or this is not a sexy pairing, but it is definitely a pairing that I love and it works. I pair Brady with Evans, and now Evans, people sleep on him, but he's not no damn sleeper. Mike Evans is the truth, okay? Mike Evans, he's consistent every season. It doesn't matter who the hell his quarterback is. And then you don't have to draft Brady early. Like, you're gonna see people drafting Allen early, and obviously Mahomes and Murray and Prescott, and the top dogs they're gonna be drafting them early, so they may be missing out on some of the running backs or wide receivers. And while they're doing that, you can still be building your team around, say, you got Mike Evans, maybe he's your number 1. Like in this last draft, I was able to still do Diggs and Evans, but I went with Brady. So I tried that twice, and I was able to pair Brady and Evans, and they're gonna make magic this year because Tom Brady is gonna be healthy. We didn't know he was dealing with an injury throughout the season. So while everybody's snatching up the top quarterbacks If you want to take the approach of building your team while they're grabbing quarterbacks, let me keep adding my wide receivers, and know that drafting Tom Brady is not a bad move in fantasy. So you just got to know when to draft him. And like I said, I would pair him with Evans. That's what I would do. Godwin, I don't know. I have to wait and see about that. I prefer Evans over Godwin. And as you can see, what Godwin and Brady did. So know that you don't have to snatch up the top quarterback. You know, there's only a few that's in that group, and then there's another tier. You got that tier. So you're not gonna get Mahomes. Everybody's not gonna get him. Everybody's not gonna get Allen. Everybody's not gonna get Murray. And then down one of the top dogs and Watson. So for me, I'll say in redraft, I'm not checking for a lot of the rookie quarterbacks in the redraft league. Dynasty, obviously, it's a no-brainer. But redraft, people are gonna look at Lawrence, and that's fine. But I'm gonna go with veterans in my redrafts, and that's something you should consider. All right, y'all. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more Waiver Wire Queen on fantasy football. Y'all have a great evening. Peace.